Trying to do it for you at this point.
So it's just a job like enough. Okay. Ready to go? Yes. All right, welcome everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business here is to call a roll call, and so I'll start with, if you just wanted to go around and just say, so Commissioner Morris. Chief Morris. Commissioner.
Kim Beatty.
Janet Taylor.
Brian Costigan.
And I'm Leo Priggy. With all five of us here, we have a forum. And I'm going to turn it over to Director Brown here to do the introduction for our new commission member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, the first thing I do want to do is we have some new faces, some old faces in the crowd. But I do want to say thank you to our two outgoing commissioners, Commissioner Harbaugh and Commissioner Metropolis. I want to say thank you. Anytime anybody does a service like they've been doing for many years now, it's not for the pay. It's because you want to serve the people of Montana and do a good thing, and we do appreciate that. And just want to say thank you. And then we want to introduce our two new commissioners. Like I say, one new face and one old, but and we will start with Commissioner Beatty.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Kim Beatty. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law since 1994. Mostly I do business law. I have a family here in Montana, 2 adult sons, and we live on our family ranch in central Montana.
And Commissioner Costigan.
It's kind of old hat here, sitting back in the chair, just a different location. Name is Brian Costigan. I'm the commissioner from Helena, along with Steve. Prior to here, I was with the lottery. Prior to that, with the Department of Justice. And I'm now quasi-retired. So that's what we're doing. Thanks.
Then we'll turn it back over to you then.
All right, Mr. Chairman. Well, it's great to have you guys on board. Look forward to, the commission is quite a lively group. We got a lot going on with the lottery, so looking forward to get this work with you, Kim and Brian. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
I guess so. The next thing is we'll do the introduction of the lottery directors around the table, starting with Ann.
Ann Charpentier, Sales and Marketing Director, Montana Lottery.
Jolene Boyd, Finance Director, Montana Lottery. Philip Charpentier, IT Services Director, Montana Lottery. Corey Bailey.
Julia Swingley, I'm Chief Counsel of Department of Administration, assigned to be the true.
Corey Bailey, Director of Security and Deputy Director.
And Bob Brown, Director.
All right, so since we already introduced the commissioners, we've covered that, so we'll go on to the first order of business here, which is an upfront opportunity for public comment. If there's anything that anybody online or in the room has anything to address before we get started here, happy to hear your comments or concerns.
I'm not seeing any public comment at this time.
And just to let you know, Leo, we have Cassie Colchin helping me. She's my wingman today. Mike is going to Disney World.
Thanks, Cassie. Thanks so much. Okay, hearing no public comment, I'll move on we're moving up front here for the marketing and sales report with Ann.
Yes. Well, good morning, everybody. And again, my name is Ann Sharp. I'm Sales and Marketing Director for the Montana Lottery. I have a couple folks that will be also joining me throughout the presentation, so I'll introduce them as we go along. I do have a presentation I'll show you here, and one of the things I encourage is if you have questions as we go, please don't hesitate to ask. Happy to address anything that you might have, and of course at the end as well, whenever it's convenient. So let's see, if you go back one for me.
Forgive me.
So we're gonna start with I'm coming to you today really with the exciting news that we're exercising our 2 one-year extensions for the advertising and related services contract to the WENT agency. As directed by the State Procurement Bureau for purposes of exercising the 2 one-year contract extensions to the WENT agency. I have provided justification and confirmation that this action is in the best interest of the state. The WENT agency's performance throughout the duration of their contract has consistently met and often exceeded our expectations, and extending their engagement isn't really in the best interest of our organization. Next slide, please. So the services provided in this contract include, but are not really limited to, reporting, media and creative deliverables, budget adherence, and performance metrics. The agency's work has been completed accurately, on schedule, and in full compliance of the terms of the agreement. In your handouts, you have a copy of the justification memo and the State Procurement Bureau's contract renewal memo for reference. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about this extension being extended. Any questions? Okay. Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you. So we'll go into sales next. It's our favorite part. And so just a reminder, we had, normally I would kind of be later in the agenda, but we had talked about the need to maybe move my stuff up so that there was some context to the sales and the, product activity going into the other sections of the agenda. So hence why I am now kind of towards the top instead of towards the bottom of the list. So just to remind everybody of that decision. So there's a great deal going on in the sales and marketing department, as always. I'll try to cover this as quickly as possible, but again, please just let me know if you have any questions that I can answer. Next slide, please. So we'll start with a brief overview of all the product sales, beginning with our multi-state games. Powerball's large jackpot at the beginning of this year set us up for the sales increase that we see on the first line. Mega Millions is essentially even with last year's total in week 47. A bit surprising since the game group changed the game's price point in February with the expectation of improving performance, but that has yet to be realized. Hope to see a large jackpot to bring us into fiscal year 27 and a better sales result coming from that. Alternatively, Millionaire for Life is performing very well. I have a chart that will focus that on that game more specifically. Lotto America is in the throes of a high jackpot right now, which is needed due to how it is performing in comparison to last year. Looking at our Montana exclusive games, we have some mixed results as we close out fiscal year 26. Montana Cash has struggled to get a high performing jackpot this year, which contributes to the negative 9% for this week of 47 that's showing here. Treasure Play has also been struggling despite our increased player and in-location messaging. This decline is the result of low progressive game jackpots and needed game changes that we will not be making until after our system conversion is complete. On a positive note, Scratch is practically even with last year's sales, which have been strong and steady. Sportsbet Montana is 8% higher, where major events did contribute to this success. But it is the continued strengthening of the book and the steady engagement of players in long-running sports like hockey and Major League Baseball.
And when
Yes.
did Lucky for Life or Millionaire for Life replace Lucky for Life?
It was in February of this year. Yeah, so, and it's producing about double the sales of Lucky for Life. So we're very happy with its performance so far. It's doing very well and people seem to be enjoying the game.
Yeah.
You bet. It is noteworthy that 5 of our products are seeing substantial profitability improvements this year. Overall, we are currently 8% positive from where we were last year at this time. An excellent place to be with only about 2.5 weeks remaining in the fiscal year. Next slide. So we are always working to improve gross sales numbers, but profitability is key. We are focusing on what is in our control to mitigate the cyclical nature of national games that are largely driven by external factors, especially jackpots. So 8 of our 10 products are currently showing increased net profit. One of those 10 is Mega Millions, is still even with last year, and the one lotto product is lower than last year is Lotto America. Montana Millionaire being lower by 1 percentage point is a bit deceiving in its comparison, because even though the game profit percentage is lower, the average or the overall sales were higher than last year. Hence the dollar amount for profit is larger. We have conducted an analysis of multiple years reviewing advertisement, marketing, and jackpots to determine the drivers of sales. Jackpots lead the way in increasing profitability for the lotto games, as the data shows. And we continue to analyze this information and use data-driven insights to guide in our planning efforts. So next slide, please. So now moving to the Scratch product. In comparison to last year at the same time, the product is performing strong with just a slight 2% decrease in sales so far as compared to the last fiscal year. Our Can-Am summer promotion is underway and performing optimally. We are excited for our first drawing for a $2,500 prize, which leads up to a second $2,500 prize in July. And then our grand prize drawing for a new side-by-side vehicle for our of the winner's choice. 2 side-by-sides are still available to win instantly in the game. All right. So going into sports bet, I will start with a chart here. And as we discussed, sports betting product line is seeing a lot of success this fiscal year. One event worth mentioning is the NCAA Division I tournament, March Madness, which I will touch on here in just a second. Then I will introduce Brady Schultz, our sports betting manager, who will address esports questions that were posed during the last commission meeting. As a reminder, and after Brady has provided his information, we'll be asking the commission's consideration for adding esports to the sports wagering offering. So looking at our NCAA's March Madness, the chart provides a comparison of performance for the past 4 years. Unfortunately, the book underperformed as compared to the prior year for total sales and the bets placed. Our success was definitely with the average bet amount, which increased to $33 per wager, or a 13.7% increase. This could be due to many different factors, but we estimate that the prevalence of prediction markets like Kalshi or Polymarket played a part in the decrease in our wagers. The first decline that we have experienced for March Madness since the inception of this product. And it's one of the major outlying factors that we've identified. Any questions regarding that? And we're going to go more into prediction markets and things when Alex speaks here in a bit. So any further questions I can't answer, I'm sure that he would be helpful in doing so. Okay, so going into the next section, which is our esports. I would like to introduce Brady. If you can just come up here and sit here, Brady. We can go have you up here. Brady Schultz is our sports betting manager. Does a great job in helping the players and assisting our sales agents with all things sports betting related. So as we mentioned in the last meeting, esports is growing. It's a growing sport that is offered by all nationally notable sports books. We know this is of interest to wagers in Montana, and we must meet the market demands. Esports is not a traditional sport as you might know it. But if you pay attention to high school or collegiate sports, esports has become part of the sport offering, just like any football, basketball might already be. This new sports offering would include the 3 esport offerings here. It would be Counter-Strike, Dota 2, and League of Legends. So during our last meeting, there were several questions that were posed by the commission about esports before a decision could be made on whether to add it to the book or not. And so we have taken all those questions individually, and Brady is going to help me in answering those questions for you. So we'll start with, if you want to go to the next slide. So the first question that was posed was, how does esports attract an adult following that wants to bet? So Brady, if you want to go.
And I think too, good morning, commissioners. For some of our new commissioners, I'll briefly mention just the definition of esports and
Yes.
the games and kind of what they are. So esports is the world of organized competitive video gaming where professional players and teams compete against each other for prizes, rankings, and titles. As Ann mentioned, the 3 games that we'd be offering right off the rip would be League of Legends, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike. League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena. Dota 2 is a multiplayer online battle arena as well, and Counter-Strike is a tactical first-person shooter game. So that's just the brief summary of kind of what esports is and the games and their genre. So now to get into the questions. How does esports attract an adult following that wants to bet? The average esports viewer is no longer a teenager. The core audience is now in their mid 20s to late 30s, especially with these 3 games we're offering. The people that were kids when these first came out was many years ago, so they are now all grown up and full adults now. And the transition to a mature adult audience has relied heavily on formal regulation and professionalization of the esports industry.
And of course, any questions that you might have as we go, please feel free to just pipe.
Yep.
Next one.
The next question that was posed is, who are the organizations and governing bodies that sanction and run these events and tournaments? Unlike traditional sports where independent governing bodies like FIFA or the International Olympic Committee hold sway, esports is entirely dependent on who owns the intellectual property of the game. For League of Legends, it's Riot Games. They have their own internal operations, and they frequently partner with data integrity companies like Sportradar, who is also Sportsbet Montana's data provider as well, to monitor betting lines and prevent match fixing. Counter-Strike and Dota both have a company called Valve, who provides prize pools, but the tournament organizers are third parties that run the show for all of those.
So Brady, so if there's 3rd parties involved, regulation, how's the regulation? Who ensures that there's?
So for Counter-Strike, there's 3 different organizers that they have. There's one called EFG, the ESL Faceit Group. They're the largest player in Counter-Strike. They're backed by Savvy Games Group. They run the historic Intel circuit and the ESL Pro League. And then there's another one named Blast. They're known for their high production tournaments and running the Blast Premier Circuit, and PGL is an independent organizer frequently selected to run massive stadium events. And when it comes to the integrity side of things, I think we get to that in future slides.
Yeah, there was more questions.
Thank you.
So are there integrity policies in place for each game and tournament offered? The answer is yes. For League of Legends, strict ban on all global esports gambling in regard to tournaments and the participants in those tournaments potentially, having scandals or throwing games. Strict multi-year to lifetime ban for that. Similar, same thing to Counter-Strike and Dota. If any participants in those tournaments are found of doing anything scandalous or match fixing, they're banned, and often lifetime bans as well. And you can see at the bottom the data security partners for each game. And so if a player throws a match in League of Legends, they answer to a centralized corporate HR and legal department. And if they throw a match in Counter-Strike or Dota 2, they answer to an independent integrity commission. But the game developer will step in completely ban their digital identity from the highest echelons of the sport.
Much more restrictive than NCAA.
Really, it does. All right,
Next
next slide, please. So how do they verify and check the age of the players participating in these tournaments? These players are competing for millions of dollars, and their matches are featured on sports books worldwide. So they undergo a rigorous corporate and legal vetting process long before they step onto the stage. Government issued ID and passports are required. They must submit both of those to the league operations team during the official roster lock period. For visa and employment background, because professional esports players are paid employees of the respective organizations, they must secure P1 athletic visas to travel and compete legally. Governments verify the player's birth date, making it impossible for a player to falsify their age to the tournament organizer. And then there's legal contracts as well, where players must sign official roster and player eligibility requirements.
Oh, this is just additional information.
Oh, yes. If a sportsbook accepts bets on a match featuring a minor, they can face catastrophic regulatory fines or lose their gambling licenses. Minors are statistically viewed by integrity commissions as highly vulnerable targets for match fixing syndicates. And then, like we mentioned, strict age verifications and other requirements make them legally compliant. We actually inquired to our data provider, Sports Radar, that provides for us, and they have a strict no offering any wagers on minors for esports. So anyone under 18 won't even be up on our sports book if this does get passed and offered on our sports wagering catalog. As well as we can add and exclude games at any point if we wish to do so. So good to check in with them and see kind of what their stance was on it as well.
Excellent.
So the last question the commission had was, how do we check the age of bettors participating in esports wagering? Because most of the authorized betting locations are establishments that serve alcohol, patrons are already subject to being carded by bouncers, bartenders, servers at the door, counter, or at the terminal when they are using it. For self-service kiosks, if a player chooses to use a Sportsbet Montana machine inside a venue rather than the mobile app, they are still operating in a monitored, age-restricted commercial space where staff are trained to ensure minors are not interacting with lottery terminals. And then a quick legal penalty note: under Montana law, allowing a minor to engage in sports wagering or lottery games carries severe consequences for the retailers. Any licensed venue that fails to properly monitor or prevent underage betting faces immediate suspension or permanent revocation of their lucrative lottery and sports wagering licenses.
Thank you, Brady, for all of that. You know, we really did want to make sure that we answered the, all of your questions that were posed in the last meeting. But if there are others, we're certainly, able to hopefully answer those here or go back and get the answer for you.
I'm just curious, what does the offerings look like? I mean, I know what sports, regular sports, over, under, or whatever. How does it look for?
It's pretty similar. Oftentimes it's two teams playing against each other, so you can bet on a team to win. Oftentimes there's rounds within these games, so you can bet on over under the amount of rounds. You can.
What would in-play be part of it?
In game?
Yeah, it would.
You could be.
Yep.
Just trying to wrap my head around it.
Yes, Mr. Morris.
Speak because I can't.
Oh, you're okay.
Is this only offered in kiosks?
It would be offered on all platforms, so the mobile app would be included as well.
So what do you see as more financial as we move forward?
Well, I would assume that similar to our offering now, where about 90% to 95% of our wagering takes place on the terminals, most of the betting would take place pre-game on these terminals. And then for the really niche bettors, they would probably be on the mobile app engaging in the in-game offerings.
This is something that see it's an action. This is something you want the commission approved to move forward.
That is correct.
Does it have to be adopted by the legislature?
No, it's just another offering. You have the ability and the authority to approve or not approve new game offerings, new leagues basically that we are offering. And so this is a new game. This is a new offer that that we cannot offer without your approval. So it's no different than if we were to add, I think when we added table tennis, it would have been about a year or two ago that we did table tennis with you all, and we added that as an offering on the book with your approval. No, we need your approval in order to do.
You know, I guess when they first mentioned this to me, that this, you know, hey, maybe we need to take a look at this. I went, are you kidding me? We want to put video games out there, you know? But the one thing to me is that first off, it's all handled just the same way sports bet is now. I mean, there's no new way of placing a bet or new location. It all has to be on location. But you know, some of the criticism we have faced in the past, same game parlay is probably a good example. Everybody, all these sports books you see on TV, they're offering a same game parlay. We haven't gotten to that point yet with our book, but to make it a more complete product, that's where we went. We now have that. We're progressing in that as well, and these other folks out there who aren't able to operate in the state. But one of the criticisms that we always face is that we don't have a complete offering, and that's really what this to me does, is it makes it more of a complete product within the state. So the offering that we have is comparable to what other products that are out on the market.
So who's asked us to actually add this game to our platforms? Who's requesting to be able to participate in this?
So we as the lottery are asking. We are asking on behalf of the folks that we've heard from and talked to about, are you ever going to add it? Are you, is this something that you guys would offer? And I know Brady's had conversations like this and seen, the comments, I guess, made in regard to esports.
So the comments are coming from players or participants. It's not necessarily from Valve and the Riot Games, right?
And it is our intent in the marketing and sales department and Brady's, as the manager of the product too, to always be looking for new opportunities to freshen the offering, to provide, what makes us a legit sports book. And this is one of those things. This is extremely popular with all betting platforms and something that, we see as a good option for us to help us build our sports.
Mr. Chairman, one quick question, Ann. How many other states are doing these, especially states that don't do all of the online stuff we do?
Well, so I could say,
That ban it.
yeah. So anybody who has DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet365,
They don't do this.
no, they all do this.
They all do this.
And way more than we're
On
even.
top of
On top of everything.
DraftKings, Kings, and this.
Correct.
Correct.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, every operator that has at least one license in a jurisdiction with sports betting, they all offer esports, as well as we're starting to see prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket are also offering esports right now as well.
So we're just trying to compete.
One other question, how many other states don't offer sports betting like we do?
There are 12 other states
That
that
do what
don't
we
offer
do.
sports betting at all.
And how many are the run through their state lotteries or other like state-owned commission without DraftKings, you know that?
Well, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I know the main setup for a lot of these states where online gambling is legal is that the regulatory body is often a state agency that runs it, and they usually do have gaming commissions that, you know, vote on adding stuff just like we're doing right now. So most regulatory bodies are state agencies that oversee this.
So if you look at a state like where DraftKings is, I don't know, I guess
Colorado.
or something, right?
Yeah.
Colorado or DraftKings would essentially be like they're the ones that are just running the book, but there's somebody regulating what they can offer, just like us almost.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit different. We're formally set up where
Yeah, we run the book and
we run the book and
we are the
regulation rather than them. Okay.
We are unique.
Okay. Isn't Oregon set up similarly or not? Were
They have a online wagering, but it is only through DraftKings.
they? Okay, so they're.
we're unique and we're the right way to do it.
I think so too. So
Yeah.
I'm biased, but I think that, you know, the way that the lottery is positioned, where you actually have to go into a tavern or some place that you physically have to get up off your couch and go place a bet.
Yep.
And
Even on the mobile, you still have to
Right.
be in location.
And so-
at those locations.
I guess one of the risks is how do we keep that way, right? How do you keep the consumer base happy enough to not want to put a bunch of pressure on legislators to pass a bill that would allow that to change? So
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of one of the angles at it. It's like where where you have a competitive product. And I was looking up on here, I was just looking like the prize winnings of a tournament of one of these kids or people are competing for, millions of dollars. Like I think the national title of a Dota tournament recently was like that the purse was like $3.8 million. That's like a golf tournament,
Yeah, it is.
Like a
It's right.
PGA Tour event is like $4 million purse.
Make no mistake,
So-
these are professionals
Yeah.
with contracts playing professional sport in their mind. And
Like
Yeah,
I said, that
yeah.
with the NCAA issues we're seeing with the NCAA, and there's not that same, where the people don't have the incentive to necessarily to win as much as they have. So that one's kind of where we're seeing all this problem is these college kids betting. So this, I don't know. It seems weird to me, but I'm old and I don't understand what's going on with it, but.
One more question to, Director Brown, do you still get, legislators that want to open it all up to DraftKings and everything else? I did.
well, I think we're gonna continue to see that. I mean, because everybody always has there's always another opinion, right? And I think we will see that this next session, as we've seen it for the past, I couldn't tell you how many sessions, but every session that I've served in, there certainly was attempts to do that. And that kind of, with what the chairman said here, I mean, that's really would I ever vote on or bet on esports? I'm sure not. I guess I can't say never because you don't know. You can't say never, but to me, it's about having a complete product. So as we face some of those issues, because I do believe that it is best for the state to have control of the book the way that they do. And one of the best ways for us to help keep that is to have a complete product to offer to the people.
It's also worthy to note that you as a commission have the ability to remove products, markets from our product line. So Sportsbet, we're trying to offer a complete product line. And if I recall correctly, a few years ago, we had some stinkers. We had some duds. Korean table tennis wasn't doing so great. So we requested and suggested that we eliminate some of these products. So this could happen with this if it's a dud, just as any sport could happen in the future, but allow us the opportunity to see how it works. That's what we're asking.
Mr. Chair. And a lot of responsibility. The operators, our owners, the operators. Enforce the age restriction. You got a hot little product. This is a video game. These kids are gonna come in and nobody's gonna pay attention to them playing that keyless. I mean, the enforcement side of it. The operators. I think you're gonna get some pushback on it. And the age restriction in there. I mean, just from my experience, I see people come in and these kiosks. Nobody gives it a second thought. And if there's a 12-year-old, you're probably going to knock it off. But I don't know. I think they're opening it again. And what this is going to lead to down.
I can speak to.
Unless it's horse racing.
Noted. As part of the conditions of licensing for any of our sales agents, whether they're selling sports wagering or they're selling lottery or scratch or what have you, it is their responsibility to make sure that they're not selling or offering the product to anybody underage. That is the licensing conditions that they agree to. Every single location goes through that process. They understand that that is their responsibility. The reason that we have the product in our bars and casinos is because there are 20 other machines normally in those locations that they're also regulating and making sure people are not, utilizing it that are not of age. So I mean, it is on the location. They've agreed to that. And that is how it is restricted. I don't see esports as operating any differently or targeting anyone differently than football or basketball. 18 to 34-year-olds are interested in those just as much as they may be with esports. They may be 45 years old, they may be 65 years old. There's, in our estimation, they are, all the products are, I guess, of interest to lots of different age groups. But that age restriction is the responsibility of the sales agent to make sure that they are not selling to anybody who is underage, just as alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, age restricted product there is out there.
Commissioner, I do feel that I understand what you're saying about you don't want young kids going up to these machines playing because they're interested in it. But the operators do a very good job now. We don't hear about underage people using the machine.
You're going to if you do this.
What sorry? You do. Okay. Well, I think if they were going to be doing it, they would already be doing that with the football and the basketball and the other sports that we offer, because this is no different than any other bet that somebody makes. It doesn't show the video games, it doesn't show the plays, it just is allowing somebody to bet on the outcome.
For Director Brown, has the governor's office expressed anything?
No.
I think it's worthy to note as well that the commission was concerned about age related to these products. And we did the research to determine that when we say kids, these kids are 20 and 30 years old, who are playing the games, who are watching the games, and who are ultimately betting on the games. So kids is a relative term. In my mind, those are kids, but they're adults.
Right, because these games they're relatively mature, right? I mean, they're like first person
Yeah, they've been around
shooter
forever.
stuff, and right, but I mean, it's a lot of these games are kind of where a lot of young kids probably aren't playing a lot of this stuff anyways when they're really young or high school
These games, I wouldn't say young kids are playing.
right?
Rarely.
And I think that I guess I think Steve has a good point with the monitoring of these games. I mean, I'm assuming that there's ways to potentially monitor issues that come up where we might have is there a communication channel to flag younger bettors doing what he's talking, kind of sneaking in and doing it? Because to me, it seems just the way that this sports culture is out. And I like sports, I follow sports, the lines, all this stuff is in your face all the time. And I know that friends of mine that have younger kids are talking about their 12-year-old kids talking about the over-under in a game or talking about this, and it's in their face on every football game. That's how they're interacting with the sport now, because that's what they're seeing on sports. And so to me, it seems just as probably more likely that they, like Corey's saying, that they would be going in and betting on March Madness or an NFL game than they would for an esports game, just because it's in their face all the time. So I mean, that monitoring is a lot to put on these sales agents. And so I guess to me, and it's just kind of a broader thing, since we do have this control, it'd be nice this is a good discussion point to bring up. Are there ways that we can monitor that on the lotteries end from a regulatory perspective, intentionally, and say, hey, do education around, specific training around young players and having people really focus on that, because I think that's one of the biggest things out there. Are there cameras on machines? I mean, all these places have cameras everywhere, right? So if there was an incident, you guys could pull it up and say, yeah, this kid does look too young, and then talk to the operator, because I think this is a big issue.
But you're talking about the overall issue of gambling itself, right?
Yeah, having young kids participate in it, because
underage activity, which and that all is relatable to anonymous play. So is there the ability to control who plays registered play versus anonymous play? Our mobile apps are absolutely registered play. So not only do you have to be in the facility, you have to sign up, you have to show your ID, take a picture of your ID, upload it, and do the whole know your customer process to verify your identity. So there's no concern there, because they are adults registering. The anonymous play, however, is we can see that's where play happens, because I mean that's 95% of our activity, and just like next to the Keno machines and the video poker machines, those are all anonymous play. And it is up to the establishment to monitor those just as well as our product. And it's part of our license agreement. If they want to sell our product, they have to do that. And if they're caught doing that activity with allowing minors to play, we pull their license. We have the ability to pull their license. So in that respect, we're doing.
Yeah, I understand that. There's nothing you can do about having somebody's older brother play a bet or something. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna have this environment,
there is a way to prevent this 100% is registered play on the kiosk. If we do that, we'll lose all bets.
Drive people nuts, but I guess just in terms of trying to mitigate as much as possible. Not that you're on already, but I think this should be a focus. Or Brian, did you?
Yeah, I just, Corey, going back in your previous life,